Hello, I'm Kate Reid. I've been in Amersham for 10 years and we moved here originally because we just liked the area and thought it would be a great place to have a family. So I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for the last 20 years and I write a lot about the environment, about gender, about parenting, mental health and well-being. And I think having written and researched a lot around these subject areas, I now feel that I want to bring to bear what I've learned for the good of my own community.
So I'm Rachel Dineley, area that I know because I first moved to Amersham back in 1985, dedicated member of the Children's Society, probably for decades now, as well as the Woodland Trust. And I care passionately about our environment, including our built environment and our green spaces in Amersham.
Hello, I'm Simon Standish. I'm married, I have 4 children, and I've lived in the area for 30 years, so it really is home. And I sat for 2 or 3 years on the board of the local hospital as a non-executive director, so I got a little more involved in local services. I'm particularly interested in health and wellbeing issues. I do it for a living, but I'm also very interested in what's happening locally, especially on the back of this awful experience of the last 12 months.
Town councils are really important, and I think many people probably don't know quite what they do.
It spends just over £1 million. It has responsibilities for addressing our lighting locally, of looking after the recreation areas. It coordinates and runs particularly important community events. It does deal with certain planning applications. So it does a lot of very practical things which impact on health and well-being locally, on safety and security, and it makes a contribution to our local environment. It's also an important conduit for local consultation on the more major planning schemes, so it has an important entree into the council.
I think the town council is important to us all because it is our local council, because it actually has quite a lot of influence in terms of what is provided to us locally and how it is provided, in terms of how we provide our adult social care, for example, how we properly fill the potholes in the road, how we plan for our built environment so that we are providing the right kind of housing for people with the necessary infrastructure to go with it, all of which needs to be fed through to county level.
So the town council, I think, can have quite a strong impact on the environment. And firstly, in things like providing electric charging points in smart streetlights across Amersham. And more cycle lanes could be built to encourage people to cycle, and also things like drop curbs on pavement so that it's very accessible to families with buggies and to wheelchair users, that they can get around the town and not have to go by car. Well, I'm really interested in the High Street, and funnily enough, as a journalist, I've written about just that, the British High Street and what can be done. And I think one of the things is sort of this transition from seeing it as a traditional place, a destination for shopping, to a destination for community. There is a loneliness epidemic, isn't there? We need to start bringing together these groups of people in society who maybe, don't meet each other.
The council, and I think the town council and the unitary council have a kind of duty to bring together, to coordinate, to make connections, even though they may not necessarily be able to directly invest.
See there being an Amersham Town Council section of the website where you could bring these different people together. And as you say, it's sort of, there are resources in terms of time.
I think that the town council really needs to listen to its residents. And I say that as a member of the Green Issues Working Party of the Amersham Community Board. I think it's really important that we understand what residents most want, and then that we convey that very clearly at county level so that we have a voice that is heard.
Our town council has been dominated by the Conservatives for quite a long time. And as Lib Dems, we're keen on making a contribution, on bringing some freshness, some newness to this, especially in the light of these very difficult times that we've been having over the past 12 months.
The thing about the Lib Dems is that we're very practical. And we want a fairer, greener and more caring society, but we look at that in terms of what happens on the ground.